Hello, my dear students. So, today in this session, we will discuss some important question answers from the chapter that is industry. First question, that is, what do you mean by industry? What are the necessary geographical factors essential for localization of an industry? Explain with example. The answer is the process by which natural objects are made usable for turned out into economic goods is known as industry. In other words, the term industry refers to those activities of man which are involved in adding value to primary or natural items. It is a process of refining and making new products from primary goods. Therefore, any type of manufacturing activity can be considered as an industry. For example, producing rice from paddy, molasses and sugar from sugarcane, cloth from cotton, shoes from leather, etc. The development of an industry in a particular place depends upon many factors. Some of the necessary geographical factors for localization of an industry are: number 1, availability of raw materials. The localization of an industry depends to a great extent on the proximity of available raw materials. Agriculture, forest, water, mines, etc. are some sources of raw materials. Moreover, raw materials should be available at cheap rates. The nature of raw materials may be bulky, perishable, or difficult to carry. For example, some of the raw materials needed for iron and steel industry are iron ore, limestone, manganese, coal for cotton and textile industry, raw cotton for molasses, and sugarcane for sugar and sugarcane for jute industry, raw jute, etc. Number 2, that is the climate. Climate is one of the key factors that greatly influences the development of an industry in a particular spot. Ideal climate helps the smooth functioning of the industry, which goes a long way to boost industrial production. For example, the wet and humid climate of Maharashtra-Gujarat region is ideal for spinning and weaving of cotton. Similarly, favorable climatic factors are responsible for the development of cotton textile industry in the Manchester region of the United Kingdom and New England province of the United States of America. The favorable climate in and around Los Angeles has been responsible for the development of film and photographic industry in this region. Number 3, power. Power is the most essential element to run the machines. It may be hydropower or thermal power. Availability of power makes industrial production cheaper. No industry comes up where there is non-availability of power. For example, the Indian Iron and Steel Company and Bokaro Steel Limited get sufficient power from the Damodar Valley project of river Damodar. Likewise, the Rourkela Steel Limited gets hydroelectric power from Hirakund Power Project. Similarly, the Vijayanagar Steel Limited gets both power and water from Tungabhadra project. Number 4, transport and communication. The nature of the land, terrain, presence of rivers, mountains, valleys, etc. greatly influence the development of transport and communication. The rough terrain is one of the primary reasons for the slow industrial development of northeastern India. Industries come up in these regions that have an excellent network of transport and communication. Therefore, the presence of good transport and communication network is a major factor influencing the localization of industries. For example, the TISCO in Jamshedpur, Pittsburgh in USA are located in those areas having highly developed transport and communication network. Next question is, what are the different types of industry? Explain the basis of classification. Answer: the different types of industries on various bases are: on the basis of the amount of capital employed, value of products manufactured, number of workers employed, capacity of production, supply of raw materials, and the amount of power needed to run the machines. Industries can be classified into number 1, large scale or heavy industry. The industry which requires a capital investment of 5 crores or more than in plant and machinery is known as a large scale or heavy industry. For example, iron and steel industry, shipbuilding industry, automobile industry, etc. are large scale industries. Number 2, medium scale industry. The industry which requires a capital investment in plant and machinery between 60 lakh to 5 crores is known as a medium scale industry. For example, electrical industry, computer hardware industry, shoemaking industry, etc. Number 3, small scale industry. The industry which requires a capital investment in plant and machinery between 5 lakh to 60 lakh is known as a small scale industry. For example, can making industry, handloom industry, toy making industry, etc. Next, number 4, small scale and cottage industries. So we can also say here at it as cottage industry. So this industry requires an investment below 5 lakhs. So and any kind of modern tools and equipments it doesn't require. Number 5, handicraft industry. Only minimum investment is required for this industry. Next, on the basis of nature of products, basic industry. The industry upon which other industries depend for their functioning and survival are known as basic industries. For example, iron and steel industry, oil industry, etc. Number 2, non-basic industry. The industries which grow and developed near the basic industry are called non-basic industry. The byproducts are the raw materials for these industries. For example, many non-basic industries are found near Pittsburgh in United States of America. Number 3, some industries produce items of daily use such as tea, sugar, products, etc. Other industries include ancillary industries. These industries produce items for large or medium scale industries according to the specification, supervision, technical know-how and guidance of the parent industry. For example, bottle or can industry is an ancillary industry for a soft drink company. Next question is, what are large scale industries? Why are they called large scale industries? Answer, the industries which employ a large number of labor force and have an investment of Rs 5 crores or more than 5 crore in a plant and machinery are known as large scale industries. For example, iron and steel industry, cotton textile industry, shipbuilding industry, etc. These industries are called large scale because they require a huge investment, employ a large number of people, use large sized machines, and the production is carried on a large scale. Next question is, describe how industrialization helps in the progress of a state. Answer, there is no denying the fact that industry plays a vital role in the progress and development of a nation. Industry constitutes one of the important pillars of national economy. The progress and vitality of any nation depends on the extent of the industrial development of that nation. Undoubtedly, the industrialized nations are the most developed countries of the world. Number 1, contributes to national income. The greatest benefit offered by industries is that it contributes considerably to the national income. Industries add value to the raw materials, and this in turn increases trade and commerce, employment, etc. and enhances national income. Number 2, provides employment. Industries provide employment opportunities to thousands of people. In fact, townships grow around large industries because of the scope of technical skill and unskilled labor requirements. Medium and small scale industries are a major source of employment in India and developing countries. The unemployment problem which many of the developing and underdeveloped countries today face can be overcome only through industrialization. Number 3, boost economic growth. Without adequate industrial basis, economic growth and development cannot take place. It contributes to the overall growth of the economy. It brings about greater international trade, movement of money, infrastructural development, which all brings about greater economic growth. Number 4. Trade. Trade in commerce is greatly influenced by industries. Transport of raw materials, minerals, finished goods, machinery, etc. promote trade in commerce, business, banking, etc. Trade removes regional imbalance and brings about national integration and unity. It increases the money circulation in the country. Number 5. Brings about urbanization. Industries are mainly responsible for the springing up of towns and cities in different parts of the country. Urbanization further leads to greater demand for consumer goods, which in turn boosts trade and industrial production. And number 6, brings in foreign exchange. One of the greatest benefits of industrial development is that leads to export of surplus goods. This brings in a great deal of foreign exchange which is required to purchase the necessary goods that are not available in the country. Next question is, describe the factors necessary for setting up of an iron and steel industry. Answer: iron and steel industry is the most important industry of any nation. It is considered to be one of the important basic industries which supplies most of the essential machineries required for the functioning of other industries. The development of this industry depends on the following factors. Number 1. Availability of raw materials. Due to the presence of required raw materials in the particular area, an iron and steel industry comes up in the nearby areas. The main raw materials required for iron and steel industry are iron ore, coal, limestone, manganese, dolomite, chromite, silicon, etc. The proximity of raw materials reduces the production cost. Thus, the products are competitively priced, creating greater demand for them. This is the reason why most of the iron and steel industries tend to come up near the coal and iron ore mines. For example, Pittsburgh of USA or United States of America, the biggest iron and steel center in the world, is situated close to the iron and coal mines. Iron and steel industries of India such as Jamshedpur, Burnpur, Durgapur, Rourkela, Bhilai, Bokaro, etc. are located in Jharkhand, Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha, Chhattisgarh. These states are the leading producers of iron ore, coal, manganese, chromite, etc. in the country. Number 2. Power. Another major factor that influences the localization of iron and steel industries is the availability of power. Most of the steel industries come up in areas that have easy accessibility to the power sources. That is why most of the steel plants of India are situated quite close to the rivers and power stations. For example, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, Chhattisgarh have abundance of power from different river valley projects, and so many industries have come up in these states. Number 3. Availability of water. Adequate supply of water is essential for the smooth functioning of iron and steel plants. Therefore, steel plants tend to get developed in places that have abundant supply of water. Water is required for cooling the wrought iron. For example, Subarnarekha River supplies plenty of water for the Jamshedpur steel plant. The Vijayanagar steel industry gets power and water from Tungabhadra River project, while Damodar River Valley project supplies both water and power to the various steel factories situated in the Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal region. Number 4. Suitable market. Generally, iron and steel industries come up in areas where there is a vast hinterland or in areas where there is high population. Development of associated industries that utilize products and byproducts of this industry creates a ready market for the industry. Transport cost of finished products is thereby reduced. For example, Bihar, West Bengal, Jharkhand are thickly populated regions having a number of iron and steel industries. Number 5. Transport and communication. Iron and steel industries get developed in areas which have good transport and communication facilities. This is one of the reasons why northeastern states have not made much headway in the establishment of iron and steel industries, where the transport facilities are not much developed. Most of the northeastern states have abundant supply of coal and limestone to essential raw materials required for the production of steel, yet there is absence of any iron and steel industry in this region. The states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, etc. have excellent network of roads and railways, and this is one of the reasons for the development of iron and steel industry in these regions. Next question is, name few leading industries under SAIL. SAIL means the Steel Authority of India was established in 1973 by taking over the control and management of the steel plants of Bhilai, Rourkela, Durgapur and the integrated steel plant at Salem. In 1975, it took over the control and management of the Indian Iron and Steel Company IISCO, which had 3 steel units at Kulti, Burnpur, Hirapur in West Bengal. It took over the management of Electrosmelt Limited in 1986. The control of Visheshwariya steel plant situated at Bhadravati in Karnataka came under government control in 1989. Thus, all the major steel plants in the public sector are managed and looked after by the Steel Authority of India, or shortly it is known as SAIL. The SAIL is one of the major central government establishment in the country. Next very important question is, describe the problems faced by the iron and steel industries of India. Iron and steel industry is one of the major industries of India. It gives employment to thousands of people and constitutes one of the pillars of Indian industrial development. India is a leading exporter of different forms of iron and steel. In 2001 to 2002, India exported 2.70 million tons of steel, which increased to 4.50 million tons in 2003 to 2004. Currently, India is in a position to export molded steel, wrought iron and sponge iron. Thus, we can see that iron and steel industry has made considerable progress. Nevertheless, this industry faces various problems such as: Number 1. Lack of capital. The establishment and management of steel plants requires a great deal of capital. Machines, extensive infrastructural facilities need large financial investment. A developing country like India has limited financial resources to spare huge amounts for setting up of such large industries. Therefore, India was forced to get the financial and technical support from other countries like the United Kingdom, Germany, former Russia, etc. Number 2. Lack of modern technology. One of the major problems that confront this industry is the issue of modernization of the iron and steel plants. This again requires financial investment. Secondly, many of the modern technology cannot be applied to these industries, as these industries often lack the facilities for modernization. Therefore, most of the plants still use the century-old methods of production, bringing about lower production, which eventually leads to higher cost of production. Number 3. Low productivity. It is a fact that the production of steel per employee is the lowest in India. The plants employ illiterate laborers, and so modern methods of production are quite alien to them, and their lack of proper training and education to handle modern machines and technology has definitely brought down production level in the country. Secondly, most of the machines that are currently used are old and worn out. Therefore, their output is very low. Scarcity of high-grade coal, lack of proper technicians, low quality of the finished products are some of the other problems faced by the iron and steel industries in India. Next question is, write in brief the history of development of cotton textile industry. Answer: the cotton textile industry is one of the oldest industries of India. The first cotton mill was set up in India in 1818. but it could not survive long due to the scarcity of raw cotton. The real beginning of cotton textile production in India began with the setting up of the first modern cotton mill in Mumbai in 1854. Thereafter, in 1861 and 1863, Shahpur Mill and Calico Mill in Ahmedabad were established. After independence, there was a great deal of progress in this sector. By 1988, there were 6 lakh cotton textile mills, 9 lakh power looms, and 31 lakh handlooms in the country. Today, it is one of the key industries of India. It consists of 3 sectors, namely the mill sector, power loom sector, and handloom sector. Now, India has over 1717 mills. Out of these, 188 are in the public sector, 147 in the cooperative sector, and 1384 in the private sector. The cotton textile industry has a significant role in the Indian economy and profoundly contributes to its all-round growth. It contributes 14% to the national economy and it is responsible for 20% of value addition to manufactured products. The main centers of cotton textile industries are located in Maharashtra, Gujarat region. Mumbai and Ahmedabad are the 2 major centers of cotton textile industry in the country. Over the last few decades, the textile industry has also spread to other cities. Today, over 80 towns and cities in India have become recognized centers of cotton and textile industry. Among these centers, the major ones are Coimbatore, Kanpur, Indore, Nagpur, Sholapur, Kolkata, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Kolhapur, Surat, Rajkot, Salem, Madurai, etc. Next question is, explain why Mumbai is called the center of cotton textile industry. Answer, Mumbai is called the Cottonopolis of India. Remember, Mumbai is known as Cottonopolis of India. It is the center of cotton textile production in the country. The city is noted for the presence of a large number of cotton mills. The reasons for the development of cotton textile industry in Mumbai are the following. Number 1. Maharashtra is one of the leading producers of cotton in India. Number 2. Mumbai is well connected to the interior hinterland of Maharashtra and Gujarat, which helps in the supply of raw cotton. Number 3. Mumbai has abundant power. Number 4. Mumbai port is one of the busiest ports of the region. Number 5. The area has humid climate which is suitable for the spinning of yarn and weaving of cotton. Number 6. Most of the industrialized are settled in Mumbai and so it is easy for them to supervise the production in the industry. And number 7. Mumbai has the best exporting facilities by way of air and water. So this much is quite enough for this session. In our next class, we will discuss some of the other question answers and we will do again the revision also. Is it clear all of you? As already we have completed our entire syllabus. So thank you so much and have a nice day.